This is a comprehensive law in foreign-related areas, and in this law, China tries to, manifest its intention to the outside world, that it tried to balance all these goals. On the one hand, China upholds the international system with the UN at its core and international order underpinned by the international law. Therefore, China, in this law, manifests that it opposes unilateralism. On the other hand, China also says that it will strengthen its high-level development economy and will conduct the open door policy and more deepen its reform. So generally speaking, I think that this is the law that China tried to send a very clear signal to the outside world that China tries to uphold the international law and also safeguard its national interest by rule of law.
I don't see any great departure from what's been going on so far for decades in Chinese foreign policy. There's no surprises here, but it is useful to have a comprehensive statement in a single law of the institutions, the lines of authority, and the broad principles guiding foreign policy. In many cases, China's measures, for example, during the Trump's trade sanctions against China starting in 2018, China did impose counter-sanctions, but they tended to be less severe than the original sanctions that the United States had imposed. And so I think the fact that you have the right under international law in some instances or in domestic law to respond doesn't necessarily mean that there are not reasons for restraint, because any action itself has consequences. And so a government has to carefully measure, is the counter-sanction or the action by the government going to be so provocative that other states may react even more strongly and therefore jeopardize China's relations worse or create a downward spiral of tit for tat. China may indeed implement this in a cautious way, and I think to some extent the foreign press is overreacting to this law, because it seems to me that it restates things that have already been common practice